Alundu, Unyugu Wamago, Alundu. Unyugu Wamago, Alundu, Ariane, Alasane, Tarigi Agodari, Wayunago, Ariane, Alasane, Tarigi Agodari.
Hi friends, my name is Elmer Mauricio Enríquez. I invaded the watch the video recording in London, England. Thank you for attention.
Our loyalty and love to keep you ever free. Whatever the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true. Hallelujah, fair and blessed are the mountains high, so clear, and bring our home to thee. Though I may stray ahead and come serene, whatever the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true.
And Tessa Mason. Is she here? Yes. But first I introduce to you His Excellency Mr. Senior Lewis.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And may I add my personal welcome to you all, and in particular, a special greeting to our Garifuna brothers and sisters. I am not in any way a historian, but I do have some knowledge gleaned from textbooks about the challenges that the Garifuna people has had to endure in their struggle for survival. The very presence of the children of the Garifuna forebears in this High Commission today makes me very humbled to be in their presence. Moreover, it is a privilege for me to host this event. Today is a very significant day for those of you who
Little sister, islands are those gems, the lovely melodies upon their seats and golden sands, the sunshine ever beats. Whatever the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true.
thank you all very much.
And now Garinagu, brothers and sisters.
As you can see, I have no notes and therefore take this as words from my heart. It's not often that something you do a dozen years ago turns out as well as this. When I first came across the West India Committee, it was a mere 2 hours of being wound up, something which had existed for over 200 years as a custodian of the heritage and culture of we West Indians. On the windowsill in the office that I went to collect a little box of dusty files, which was all that I was given, was a glass case, and in it this extraordinary item, which I couldn't understand, but I knew that it shouldn't be on a windowsill being roasted by the sun. As a governor of the Museum of London at the time, I took the artefact to my colleagues where they placed it in a suitable climate and they looked after it until eventually they put it on exhibition. And it is there that bright young ladies such as these identified it and notified you all of the existence of this extraordinary artefact. Through this whole mission, all of us have learnt a lot more about your people, and indeed I've even learnt that your people may also be my people, because my great-great-grandparents came from St. Vincent, Baptiste and Guns, and I've yet to learn what that means. It may even mean that I too have some of your blood within my veins today. What's important is that we understand who we are. Because as far as I'm concerned, and this is not on page 10, unless you know who you are, unless you understand who you are, you cannot understand anyone else. And this is why I am humbled to meet all of you here this evening, because what is quite clear, and this wonderful gentleman has made it clear to those of us who are new to your culture, that you have not only understand who you are, but you live by that way. And therefore, I have to say you're amongst the mightiest people I have ever met in my 62 years on this planet. So I'm pleased to be amongst you.
But what we know here as the Chateau Punch ladle. Insofar as I know, the punch or the ladle is the only extant artifact to be directly associated with His Majesty Joseph Chateau. And here I wish to express my thanks to the Chief Executive of the WIC, that's the West India Committee, to rescue it from a life of deterioration. For as I understand it, the artifact was placed on a windowsill of the WIC and being subject to the elements of nature by those who were previously in control of it and who perhaps had not realized its true significance. Had it not been rescued, it may not have survived in the way it is today. Most likely, it may have deteriorated significantly. Mrs. Blondell Club and members of her staff, a round of applause for taking care of it. I won't say very much more about the punch ladle, as this Chief Executive will say a few words, and she is far more knowledgeable about it than I am. I can assure you of that. Suffice it to say that the Garifuna people's history is one of challenges which included their very survival. Banished from Euromaid, the Garifuna name for St. Vincent, they were driven to Balisor in 1797, and this is what one gentleman said, and I'll tell you what he said. The central objective, let me just see, I want to be sure that this is what he said, so and I don't want to misquote him. He said, first of all, let me just tell you where this is from, because you might dispute it. The author of those words that I'm about to read to you had not indeed counted on the resilience of the forefathers and foremothers of the Garifuna people. The survival of the Garifuna people with their unique culture intact is the ultimate testament to their forebears' tenacious spirit. This is what he said. You were not meant to survive colonization and conquest, but never enslaved. It is for this reason that I, as High Commissioner, salute you as representatives of the Garifuna people, for you have shown us what hope means. In the words of a Palestinian girl, aged 13, she wrote in her diary, "Hope is my best friend." But even hope, as a best friend, could not guarantee the survival of the Garifuna people. It took determination, courage, and the will to survive. Above all, the survival rested on belief in themselves. Today you, as descendants of those who suffered so much, are in London, the very capital of the country, which sent an army to extinguish your right to live in the land of your people called home.
And for those who have been the guardian of the pipe or the ladder, thank you. And all of you as well for being here with us today. We just don't want to talk about the history because we're still part of that history. We still are that history. So we have the Central American Black Organization that was created in Belize in 1995. And we have organizations in Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, and we are part of that process in the US as well. What the Central American Organization has done in working, not only with working in one-to-one with our organizations, but also we work with the government in terms of, let's say, like the government of the Central American, the Central American integration system, and we're part of that integration system in terms of working to elevate the quality of life of our people in the region. There is in Nicaragua a statue for Satuyé. In Honduras, we have a month of commemorating, the arrival of the Garifuna to Honduras from April 1st to April 30th. We have in Belize a statue of dedicated to Satuyé, and we continue to work on that. We also have in the state April 1st to April 30th, declare the whole month as a Garifuna History Month. We also have a caucus in the Congress of US work done by the Garifuna, for the Garifuna, because right now we feel like we have about 300,000 Garifuna people only in New York. So we are working with our community, and we're working. Part of the declaration of the United Nations of the International Decade of the Afro Descent. We have participated in Durban, South Africa, for racism, sexism, and all type of racism. So we are part of all that in order for us looking for a better life for the region, looking for better life for our people. So we did came here, and we are here because the part of the history that is here was unknown to us until recently. Even the whole history was unknown to us until recently. So we need to teach our children, grandchildren, who we are. In 1995, it was that most of us learned that we came from St. Vincent. 1995 is yesterday, right? That we came from St. Vincent, and that we have all this history of Satuyé, or who we are. We knew in the countries where we lived that we were different, because we have everything. We have our own language that we still kept. We have our culture. We are not intact, but 99% yes. We're outside. So you have to be in as a way of protecting their children, as a way of protecting us, and that's why we still keep our language up to date. So we do have a lot to share. We struggle in Central America, in the US, wherever we are. Here in the UK, we have a big population of Garifuna people here. Right now, around us, we have like about 600 Garifuna here right now. And we struggle wherever we are. But like our song says, wherever we are, no Garifuna is, every Garifuna is a Garifuna child. And every Garifuna pertains to the Garifuna world, to the Garifuna people. And that's the way we continue to work. We have in Honduras, we have like about 50 communities. In
Michugo, Sarime, Honsong, Waniba for Logway, Uleo, Winnipeg.
I want to first give thanks to our ancestors for being here today.
Give it to Saragu News, Saragu Guru. Ayanu how to logo Loreget Garifuna.
There are a lot of
Give it to Tida, Saragu Guru Tutura, Maria Gutumuti, Nalani Logo Oreget.
a lot of it.
Benegi Subudi Wamuti, Wagia Kaisri Garinagu Katawala.
But as Garifuna, we know who we are.
Wadagu Manule Wadagu Beguele, Lungawara Bella, Wabar Dahani Oreget, Lidage, Wasamina, Kaisri Garinagu. La Digale Sudini Tivon. Dugume Dulato, Abu Dubo Wago, Maria Butani Narini, Hawan Garinagu. Iseri Tiwasubu Diruni Kala Megi Yurume.
It is new to us to learn what happened in St. Vincent.
Sufirubay, Waduhenyo, Sumle Herere Gube, Lerere Gube Shatuya, Lugawara Bella, Safuruni Wagaira. Nyenge Habuguru Hagairage.
All the fighting and eventually exiled from their own land.
So Wasigirunya, Lida Meme, Aria Haine, Kate Latima, Asusedube, Yurume.
So we are studying, researching to find out actually what happened in St. Vincent.
La Digale, Lebunati Hasubudironi, Sumwarahunya, Kaisir Virahunya, Hamani Burintian, Kala Susedubai. Aria Wamuti Wanya Buido, Kaisir Wanichigo, Kaisir Wafinye, Luagu Gubida, Hamasun Hawau Banya. Awahan Yaugunya, Lidagian, Lamida Meriga, Kaisir Meriga.
We are here today.
Itiwon logo Bariwa Hama Garinagu, Ere Gutinha, Jurume Gien, Lu Alundu.
Because
Lutinha Furisugo Porchester.
this
Sandino Motian, Niuna Gunye, Ayahura Hatina, Lari Genasandino Logo, Anere la Hawani Wayuna Gunye. Dadunya Nusa Garinago, Anugutinha, Jurume Lunyaho.
400
Wayabian Lube Gunye, Wodi Baye Haruga, Nyembatu Haruga, Lugawara Bela, Wasubu Sirado Dune, Vichugu Ere, Luagule, and Nube Flasolida Dani. This gathering, I'm going to speak in my language, the language of Chatouillard, language of Barauda, Maury Pedre, Duali. This is our leaders who was dying in the island of Uruguay before banishment to Roatan, which is today Honduras in Central America. So we want our ancestors, which is here today, to understand what we're talking about. That's why I'm going to speak in Garifuna language. I was born in Honduras, in the Garifuna village. My first language is the Garifuna. When I was 10, 11 years old, we started learning Spanish as a second language in schools. So now I'm going to speak in Garifuna. My sister is going to translate into English. Busintina Frumia, Nichugo, Sarime, Honsong, Waniba for Logway, Uleo, Winnipeg.
I want to first give thanks to our ancestors for being here today.
Give it to Saragu News, Saragu Guru. Ayanu how to logo Loreget Garifuna.
There are a lot of
Give it to Tida, Saragu Guru Tutura, Maria Gutumuti, Nalani Logo Oreget.
a lot of it.
Benegi Subudi Wamuti, Wagia Kaisri Garinagu Katawala.
But as Garifuna, we know who we are.
Wadag manule wadag begwele lunga wara bella wabar dahani wore ge talida ge wasamina kaisir ge garina la digale sudini tiwon dugume dula to abul dubo wago maria butani inarini hawan garina iseri ti wasubu diruni kala mege be yurume.
It is new to us to learn what happened in St. Vincent.
Sufirubay wadu henyo sumle herere gubay lerere gubay shatuya lugawara bela lesafuruni wagaira nyenge habuguru wa hagaira ge.
All the fighting and eventually exiled from their own land.
So wasigirunya lida meme aria haine kate latima asusedubay yurume.
So we are studying, researching to find out actually what happened in St. Vincent.
La digale lebuna ti hasubudironi sumwara hunyo kaisire dira hunyo hamani burentinyo kala susedubay. Aria ga wamuti wanyenye buido kaisire ga wanichigo kaisire ga wafinye luagu gubida hamasun hawau banya. Awahan yau bunye lidaginye lamida meriga kaisire ga meriga.
We are here today
Itiwon logo bariwa hama Garinagu erere gutinya jurume gien lu alundu.
because
Lutinya furisugo Porchester.
this
Nya sandinu mutian niuna bunye ayahura hatina lari gena sandiru ni logo anyere la hawani wayuna bunye. Dadunya nusa Garinagu anugutinya jurume gien lunyaho.
400
Wayabnya lube ugunye wodi banye haruga nyeng batu haruga lu gawara bela wasubu sirago dene vichugu ere luagu le nugo be flasu lida dani nyenge habuguru wa hagairage.
all the fighting and eventually exiled from their own land.
So wasigirunya lida meme aria haine kate latima asusedubay yurume.
So we are studying, researching to find out actually what happened in St. Vincent.
La digale lebuna ti hasubudironi sumwara hunyo kaisire dira hunyo hamani burentinyo kala susedubay. Aria ga wamuti wanyenye buido kaisire ga wanichigo kaisire ga wafinye luagu gubida hamasun hawau banya.
We are there.
Meme di mama itara gore gete wawi wandubay awango lubay kaisire ga Garinagu.
We did not strive just ordinarily as Garinagu.
Tisaragu kate la digale ide hatige faradi uluga wara bayla la wiwandu Garifuna lu awango la kaisire rugunya. Ngenya no sa Sengenya no milu Garinagu adan rutio baliseo.
5,000 Garinagu were exiled to Balisau.
Hila watia kaili hawara milu grigia baliseo hahibi hadagia hagia hauna habanya lo rubado.
Over 2,000 died in Balisau, and those who survived were exiled to Rotan.
Aba flasu le hirut luago hasufuiro Garinagu nyai.
Balisau to us is a sacred land, and it is sad because we know what our ancestors suffered on that island.
Meme gigiye lebuna tela digno aba wadaru mano lugawara vela laria ho ayanire lubai habu grigia hawe gubanya nyai Baliseo.
We need to do an exercise to see if there are any remains of our ancestors on Balisau.
Hakili rubai Garinagu rubado gibeti hada hilago tiotida waporo.
During the journey to Rotan, there were those who also died on their way to Rotan on the ships.
Hakili rubai gido aba flasu le bigeti home.
They got to Rotan, they had no idea what they were doing, they don't know what would happen to them, they were just struggling.
Sundale barihado biasa vensengiru mulumage hachiliru wayuna gulurubado.
We have had 250 years since their since that exile to Rotan, and we're still here.
Nyenye hapa manigul apige wati kalaura ga boy idalinya la wachiliru nyenye.
They're still part of the history that we don't know how we got there.
Hagaira Garinagu Alundu eredere tiuru wa irumu sin kapelu Rodrigue vimanda yen lai ge hono hono Garinagu Alundu.
Alundu, unyogo wa mago. Alundu, unyogo wa mago. Alundu, unyogo wa mago. Alundu, ya alasa Larigia Godari, wayunago,